Ring up Kate Joss.
Good morning, teacher.
Yes, good morning. Is this Kate Joss?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, hi. This is Mr. Hussain regarding 20 Primary Way. I thought it'd be best if I just
Hi.
I thought it'd be best if I just give you a call so I can gain some clarity of understanding.
Okay.
Because I've received your letter today, and I'm just if you can just please clarify what your client's position is, because it seems to have changed over time. Initially, your client is alleging that we are trespassing, and then
Yeah.
it's gone on to the fact that your client is saying that you don't have an appropriate property, and then it's now moved on to saying that because I've made an allegation that they're not willing to enter a tenancy agreement with me.
No, the position has not changed at all. So my client's position is that you are a trespasser at 20 Primary Way. They've issued court proceedings in relation to that. Their position in relation to reaching a settlement with you is that it's not appropriate because they have no alternative accommodation to put you into. And even if they did, it wouldn't be appropriate for them to become a landlord of yours given the allegations that you've made against them.
Okay, all right.
So actually,
No,
it's all one. So the position's not changed at
but
all.
I'll tell you why it's confusing to me. Because on the one hand, if you're saying I'm a trespasser, that's one position. Then then your client is stating the fact that they don't have an alternative property for us, which would negate the fact that they haven't they, if they hadn't attempted to like offer an alternative property, that would be your position would be much more stable, you see, because they've attempted to offer an alternative property. It's like it seems that the whole trespass thing it becomes questionable. But more importantly, if they have offered an alternative property as a form of dispute resolution, did we ask? We never asked for
You
to be.
don't need, you don't, Mr. Hussain, I think actually you're not understanding the position. The position is my client offered you an alternative
Why?
property
Why?
as a settlement without prejudice to their position that you are a trespasser.
Okay, all right.
It was a means to settle this matter. That property turned out that it wasn't suitable.
So,
Therefore, it was
but
withdrawn. They do not have any suitable property. Therefore, they are not able to reach a settlement. But even if
but
they were willing to reach a
But
settlement, they're
wait on a
not.
minute. This aspect of a settlement, because for example, if you're saying, look, you're a trespasser, we're not happy with you to be at this property, and if I say, well, okay, are you going to rehouse us, and they say yes, as a form of settlement, because we did not ask to be rehoused, we did not ask for
So
the settlement.
you don't need to be rehoused. That was an offer my client put forward
No.
as a means to bring this matter to an end. You didn't have to ask to be rehoused. You didn't even have to accept, even if that property was completely suitable, you didn't have to accept that offer. It
No,
was an offer of settlement.
no, excuse me, an offer of settlement has to be. What was the dispute here? We didn't ask to be rehoused, so you can't make a settlement offer which we have not asked for, which has not been negotiated. We
Well, my client can make that offer, and they did make that offer, but that offer was withdrawn. So I feel that we've sufficiently set out the position for you. I don't think that you are understanding the
yes, and
position.
hence why I'm trying to gain some clarity in a conversation with you today, because it seems highly contradictory. Because, like, for example, if look, it's all about, does your client recognize that they have a liability or a duty of care to both me and my brother? All right.
No, they don't.
Okay.
You are a trespasser in
Okay.
their property.
Okay, so can you understand how it's confusing? Because if they don't have a duty of care, which you're now saying that's your position, with trespassers you have no duty of care, but then they were looking to rehouse us without as a form of, as a unilateral settlement agreement, which we've not even discussed.
It wasn't a unilateral settlement agreement. It was an offer put forward by my client without prejudice to their position that you are a trespasser. It was a means to move you from 20 Primary Way into alternative suitable accommodation that my client was willing at that point to offer you.
Okay, all right. So just one second. So what was the unsuitability of where we're presently residing?
It's a 4-bedroom property for 2 residents.
Okay.
And they have not entered into any tenancy
No, but what was the unsuitability? You're saying that you don't have suitable alternative accommodation, but what was the unsuitability? Is it just because it's a 5-bedroom house?
Yes.
Okay, so that.
Even you are not, it's not suitable. As a social housing provider, my client has a duty to make sure that the housing goes to people best in need. And a 5-bedroom house for 2 people occupancy is not appropriate.
Okay, well, but you know, the thing is that statement obviously has been an ongoing issue because there was a 5-bedroom house with 3 people here. When my mum had the tenancy, it was still under occupied. So it's not the case that all of a sudden, since my mum's passed away, it's become under occupied. It has always been under occupied. Number one, and
Mr. Hussain, I'm going to stop you there because I've made my client's position clear. They're not willing to enter into any sort of settlement with you. Their position has been fully set out in the court process. If you haven't filed a defence to that process, a formal defence by the deadline that was required, as per the judge's order at the last hearing, if you wanted to do that, you've had every opportunity to do that. My instructions now are to proceed with this matter through the court proceedings.
Okay.
My client will proceed with it.
Oh, no doubt. Okay, that's your client's position, and obviously I've made my position. I'm just at this moment. I know what your client's trying to do, and obviously I fully understand why your client's trying to do what they're trying to do. But can you understand that? It's not only just me. If I was the only person here on my own, your client recognizes that there's another vulnerable adult who they do have a duty of care to. Hence, why they attempted to rehouse my brother. What other resolution? What would you like us to do? Would you like us just to vacate the property and go where?
I don't know, Mr. Hussain. That essentially is not for my client to decide where you go. You obviously lived somewhere before you moved into 20 Primary Way.
We were homeless. Yes, we were living on our sister's couch, homeless. So well, with respect, I mean, I just want to understand that your client is looking to make a vulnerable person homeless, whom they recognize that they have a duty of care to, which they then attempted to rehouse my brother. And then you're saying you don't have an alternative property. See, there's 3 different positions that you're holding, and that's why I wanted to gain a clarity on. First of all, we're trespassing. All right. Second of all, the fact that. All right. First of all, you're saying that we're trespassing. Second of all, you're saying my client would love to rehouse you, but they don't have anything alternative. All right. So that's a completely different position. That we recognize that we have a liability to your brother and yourself, and we're looking to rehouse you, but unfortunately, due to our shortage of stock, we don't have something alternative. That's a different position. And then the third.
No, Mr. Hussain, you're not understanding what I've just said to you. The position was put forward of an alternative accommodation without prejudice to my client's position that you are a trespasser.
You can't just use
an attempt to bring the matter to an end. Unfortunately, they do not have a suitable alternative.
All right, I understand that. So they don't have something alternative. But had they have had something alternative, then you're saying the fact that because I've made an allegation that they still wouldn't enter into an agreement with us.
No.
So how is that not prejudice? How is that not a prejudice?
I've made serious allegations against my client, Mr. Hussain. They have to be taken seriously.
Okay.
As your landlord.
Okay, if they're taken seriously, all right. As you can appreciate, any tenant who has a dispute with the landlord, they're going to make serious allegations. Are those allegations, all of them, not serious?
You are not a tenant of my client. You are not a client. A tenant. You are a trespasser.
Excuse me, I've lived in this house all my life, and obviously from my position, I've made it quite clear at the last hearing, I am the tenant, all right? My mother was only acting as a proxy, all right? So obviously that's our position, that I am effectively the tenant. My mother was tenant in name alone, all right, as a signatory, that's all. So, obviously this is...
I don't feel like we're going to get anywhere with set out. It's been set out in the court proceedings.
Okay.
Correspondence. I've sought to clarify that with you. I don't feel like we've got anything further to say. I've clarified that this matter will proceed through court proceedings.
Okay, all right.
Therefore, you should have filed a defence.
Why should I? No, wait on a minute. Why should I file? Why should I file a defence?
I cannot advise you on the legal process.
Just hold on a second.
It's perfectly clear that you don't want me to tell you to seek independent legal advice.
I know, and the reason. I know, and the reason I understand this is a fraud. Now you're telling me that I should have filed a defense by a certain date. Now I've not received any paperwork to determine that. Now can I ask why did you not attend the court on the 5th of July?
Mr. Heday's court was attended by my client's barrister.
That's correct. Why did you not attend?
Because I wasn't required to attend.
Okay, and your client wasn't required to attend. No, you know.
I wasn't required
All right.
to
So.
attend either. They instructed Ms. Feng as an agent and
Okay.
for them as a barrister to present their case in court.
Okay. All right.
It wasn't necessary for my client to incur the cost of my attendance or their attendance.
Okay.
Lisa was
all right. So it's
well instructed and knew the matter.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. Because obviously at the hearing the judge recused himself. All right. And obviously the judge failed to instruct your barrister to write up the court orders. All right, which is clearly a fraud. So obviously, I attended this court. I know it was a fraud. Hence, why has the court not provided me with the court orders yet? Why? Because
I don't know, Mr. Hussain.
No.
I don't know, Mr. Hussain, but you were at that hearing.
No. And I have raised that as I was at a fraudulent contrivance. Now, the judge should have ordered your barrister to write up the court order. He didn't do so because he quickly recused himself when I challenged his role in this fraud and deception. Now you're asking me to put a defense statement in to.
Mr. Hussain, if you have a problem with the judge or the hearing, you need to take that up with the court.
I have done so. But can you explain?
I'm going to end the call.
Why?
Because I don't believe we're going to get any further on this. I've made my client's position clear. Like I say, if you have an issue with the hearing,
all right. Well, let me. Okay, that's fair enough. Let me just make one final point before we end the conversation, because I'm not going to force you to have a conversation with me if you don't want to, and we can go down the costly route. But your client needs to be made aware that when I entered the property, the place has been burglarized to the tune of over £20 million. All right. So that's something I will be looking to pursue. Hence why I was looking to find out who exactly is liable. Because obviously there are three parties here. There's your client, the housing association. There is the local authorities operative, namely my sister, whom I found at the property stealing as much as she can take, and obviously the local authority in the background. As a consequence of this theft that has taken place, I need to know who's liable, because obviously I will be looking to pursue costs in relation to the theft that's taken place. In the absence of the murder allegations, I need to understand how I've entered this property and there is absolutely everything stolen from here to the tune of over £20 million that's been stolen from here. Now, obviously, if we cannot have a dispute resolution talks regarding the theft that's taken place at this property, because this is my items have been taken here from this property. All right, there's a considerable amount of cost and theft that's taken place from this property, and I need to know who's liable. So, just a simple question that I'm like to look to resolve before I pursue my own actions is this: that who handed the keys to the property to my sister? Because obviously, if your client handed the keys of the property to my sister, a theft has taken place, and then I need to hold your client responsible. Or alternatively, if the local authority.
You're making further allegations that I'm not instructed in relation to. If you want to put them in writing to me, I can take instructions and come back to you, but I'm not able to answer any of your questions.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, I can give you things in writing, but you're on the telephone, and I said the last point I'm making is the fact that when I entered the property in February, over £20 million of property loss has taken place, and I need to know. And you can understand.
I will note that on my file.
Yes.
And pass that on to my client.
Okay. So can you?
At the moment, I don't have any instructions in relation to that, and I can't answer your question.
And I'm not putting you on the spot to answer the question. What I would like you to do is I would like you to get me a response to the singular question that who gave the keys of the keys of the property to the local authorities tenant, Ms. Shaida Hussain. I just need to know who gave the keys to her and on what date the keys were given to her, because obviously she had the keys in her possession. I've entered the property. She's actually in the property pilfering everything. So could you please kindly take instructions from your client to confirm to me whether your client had given the keys of the property of 20 Primary Way to the local authorities tenant, my sister Shaida Hussain, or whether it was. I just need to know how the keys have ended in her possession. Would you take instructions regarding this and get back to me?